Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Great Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes are desperately fighting to free Reginald from the goo's control. Butthole is being lashed with acid while desperately maintaining his hammer field. Quinny used his medallion to encourage Reginald in his mind fight, and Echo stabbed Butthole free from the goo's grasp. Can they inspire their favorite coward to save them all? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Reginald, a giant tidal wave of teeth and fangs and claws made out of a goo that was once a comforting goo, but is now truly a terror goo, sort of rises up before you. You're standing on the ramparts of your father's castle that you have erected in your mind as the booming bass tone of Quinny Brownbarrow encouragement and minor veiled threats kind of echoes throughout. Not so much like your mind palace, but more like a mind battlefield as you stand against the substance. You have armored yourself up like in my head it's just the 90s super shredder action figure where it's just like a super beefy shredder with just lots of fucking saw blades and spikes and extra pointy bits like you're going into the WWE ring. Because you have loudly declared that you're going to kick this thing's ass. So it's your initiative. How do you attempt to kick this thing's ass in your mind?
Yeah. So after hearing Quinny's words of encouragement, Reginald is super pumped. So he's standing at the wall of the fortress, ready to face off, and he just hears the clanking of boots. And as he looks left and right, he just sees other Reginalds. He's just summoning an army of Reginalds to face this beast that are all dressed the same as him. And he's like, all right, all of you, here's the deal. If one of us makes it out of this alive because we're all the same, then we all make it out of here alive. Yeah? Who wants to live forever? And they're all like, me! Just universally, hundreds of voices. Hey, you two, you gotta stop kissing. And like, but it could be our last night on Earth. And he's like, okay. Every Reginald kiss one other Reginald. Make this fine. So they all kiss one another. And
oh, wow.
He's very glad he doesn't have a therapist because he's worried about the conclusions they would draw from this, but it still kind of soothes him a little bit. Then they just raise up mental catapults, and it's just dozens of Reginalds all working together. And Reginalds climb into the catapults because he's not that creative with their flaming hammers and just are launched out as like a long-range weapon. And they are charging themselves up. So he would like to use one of his powers, Tom, to attack this creature inside his mind. And he would like to use his Crimson Right to tag it with a brand of castigation, which is part of his hunting tools to take on a monster. So he has to hit it and then injure it with a right. So he's taking his shot if he can. I don't know how the hell this works because we're in a mind fight.
Throw away your shot. Use your Metal Gear Solid 4 man cannon and just get those guys up there. All right, so Ryan, we're just gonna treat this like, even though you've described it in very like grand, epic, epic battle simulator style. Like I'm gonna throw 100 Reginalds at the giant tidal wave of nightmare monster. Just still roll it like a normal attack.
It's flavor, but it's a 1v1 fight. That makes sense to me. Yeah.
But it's at that scale.
Great. Okay. So first, he's using his Hemocraft, so he voluntarily takes damage to power his magic. Great. He rolled the smallest number possible, which is very Reginald for like, I have to use blood magic for this. Nicks his pinky. Tooled up.
I'm going to floss. There it is. Okay.
Right. Brushes his teeth too hard and is in his 30s.
I feel seen and attacked. And also educated, I think.
Logically, he can add lightning fire, or psychic damage. This is a mind fight, so it's got to be psychic. There's no way he could add anything else. And there's just like one central version of him. And I feel like whenever one flies into the cloud or whatever, it just, his mind snaps back into a different Reginald. So he's like every heroic version of this.
So like to imagine for the brand, that's not like one of them burning the brand in. It's that you launched the sigil of the brand from all the catapults in a wild, like when V spent a full day in V for Vendetta setting up a V to knock over in Domino's, or when the Punisher only blew up Punisher skull cars in the fucking Punisher movie to piss off car lot owner John Travolta. You've really put a lot of time and effort into making sure this brand hits this kaiju wave.
All the Reginalds in the sky are holding hands to make it out of a shape of them in the air.
Hands across evil goo.
That is a 23 to hit.
Yes, that will hit.
Great. He gets 2 attacks per action. So we'll see what the second attack. And he's going to use some inspiration from Quinny for that shit. There we go. That's a little bit better. That is a 17 for the second one.
I mean, yes, but you get the sense that ish.
Ish counts, he yells as he flies through the air towards the monster. All right, so he is going to do, from the first strike, are we using the same hammer rules, just assuming he has a mental version of his usual hammer, Tom,
yes.
or what weapon?
Yeah. I basically just mechanically, so you know, I have a separate stat block for what you're fighting inside your head as opposed to what they're fighting outside. But I'm treating it, basically as like, it's a giant wave and can transform into different things. You are an army of Reginalds. Still use your stats as is, and we'll just understand that it's not like, I hit him once with my little hammer and like knocked a fist-sized splash out of him and that killed him. It's like, no, this is grand scale combat.
That makes a lot of sense. So I'm imagining we'll just roll all these damage types into psychic as opposed to splitting it up. So the first hit does a total of 17 damage.
Okay.
And the second does 22 damage. And the goo has now been injured by a right with a brand seared into it. So he has a bunch of things now that he's branded this. So he always knows the direction that it's in, because that's got to be really confusing with the wall. But I mean, it helps him know just a certain kind of north. Each time they deal damage to me or a creature I can see within 5 feet of me, the branded creature suffers psychic damage. It cannot dash. The brand ends any illusion it is using to disguise itself, including invisibility, and the cannot benefit from them. If it is polymorphed or changed shape, it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or revert to its true form and be stunned until the end of its next turn. And if it attempts to polymorph or shape change, it can screw them up. And if it decides to flee the plane, it also can get hurt. And it lasts until I dispel it. So fuck this thing.
So I think then, for flavor's sake, since it's like an ongoing thing, it's not like, you know, the Reginald sear into it and then fall away. They're all just hanging on, burning it constantly with their hammers. So it's just like, as this thing moves, just a giant sigil of hand holding Reginald. What does the mark look like?
This mark is just a giant. It's like a crude children's drawing of what you see as Reginald's grinning face, and then 2 hands giving middle fingers on either side of it, right into this thing's brain. In real life, it's got to be like something occult, but this is inside its mind, so it's just his general fury. Yeah,
whenever I hear like any sort of brand or sigil, I only think of the Berserk logo. So like that's kind of where my head's at, but I'm just adding middle fingers off the edges of it now. Okay, fantastic. So that is a wise play on a giant non-shaped creture. That's going to be an interesting
While surrounded closely by friends, it now is in danger if it hurts.
Well, let's see how that goes for him. Okay, bring us out of your mind to the oh wait, no, hang on. Oops, sorry. It's been a hot second, and I reordered them. Where are they properly ordered? There we go. Okay, Reginald, you're at the bottom of the order, which seems fitting. So we jump to the to the tendrils that have emerged from the corpses. They're getting their first turn. Unfortunately, they are going to start wandering. They've got to go through Echo, but they really want to get to that field of tiny golden buttholes. They just want it. They want it so bad.
I was going to say, Echo's inside the field, right? So they got to get tagged on their way, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm aware.
Yay!
I'm just saying that they're not like Echo is like the gas station pit stop en route to where they want to go, not that they're like,
Right.
you. So they start lurching forward, and they kind of, as with the creatures you've seen to this point, their movement is highly sporadic, and it's almost like a bouncing liquid. Like it kind of like leaps, like shoots up like a little geyser.
Like flubber?
Yeah, a little bit like flubber, but it's not bouncing. Like it does pool, and then kind of pulls back into itself and lurches forward.
Okay.
How dare you make this shit that's trying to kill us sound charming?
Okay, I think you gotta add a little bit of like the tendrils from The Last of Us and a little bit of venom in there, and then.
Admittedly, also like the Robin Williams
Flenum.
flubber was pretty malicious. Like it was up to some shit. It wasn't all just like booty bouncing dance. There's a lot
That's
of
all
that,
I
but like
remember.
yeah, it was there
Yeah,
was some
me too.
malicious.
I don't
I
remember
don't
anything
remember
bad.
the plot of the Robin Williams movie.
I basically
I
am
don't think I've
picturing.
ever seen the movie, actually.
I think I'm picturing the mucus from the commercials for like cold medication is the nice
yeah.
flubber.
Oh, yes.
You're also not wrong. These are all I have watched.
I'm actually
a
picturing
bunch.
them mostly like the tentacles from the big boss in the water temple from Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So there you go, dear listeners. There are several different mental pictures, but you know what? Yours is the correct one. Until we publish an art book and then go fuck yourself. They'll have beards or something that you didn't expect.
Dell's gonna draw flubber. Anyways, let's just keep going.
Just like the deepest sigh, shoulders down, like, I don't know, here you go. New logo. All right, so the flubber, venom, mucus, water temple, tentacle, bearded creatures leap forward, and they are going to enter the field as they do have to, again, kind of like slash their way past Echo. So Echo, you kind of have a moment like your Jet Li in Hero where you turn and you just see these things arc towards you, darkening the sky, and turning to almost like lances as they arc down. However, they are in no way sentient enough to understand that the tiny golden buttholes flying around are a threat. So into the field they go.
Great. They need to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 18.
Okay. No. I don't know why I bothered to roll. Like, it would have taken a very significant roll.
That is 27 radiant damage.
So as they leap, Echo, you just kind of like turn in your chair and just like glower at them. And as you glower, they just get like pummeled apart. And it's just like watching mud get splattered by like a tire driving through it. They just get annihilated in this wave of tiny buttholes. Maybe it was your glower power. I don't know, but either way, they do not make it through. Do you say anything to these things as you watch them?
Yeah, Echo just says, "Why do you keep trying, Goo? Don't you know we're just gonna kill you?"
It's like the bleakest version of Live, Laugh, Love I've ever heard.
In
Cool.
the distance, the goo just goes flub, flub.
Yep. Just dances a little tango, two little chubby things. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. The Senate droids from episode 1 are just around for some reason because that robot was the goddamn same.
Yeah.
I have watched that film a few too many times and never truly enjoyed it. All right, so that was the tendrils. That brings us to the top of the round, Quinny Brownbarrow.
Is there any noticeable difference out here in the real world if I'm looking at Reginald to see if what I'm doing is making any kind of difference with his battle of wills?
You see like a ripple travel across the surface of the goo that has encapsulated him. And I think that would probably be enough, Quinny. You've tangled with enough like weirdness to this effect to kind of, I think, understand that you're having an effect of some sort. Yeah.
All right, then I better keep going. Maintaining, physical contact, doing a little bit of keep away where I'm just basically finding new real estate all over Reginald's armor where this goop hasn't been able to grab me yet.
You've mentioned this as ham boning before. Is there a specific song or beat that you are playing while you do this?
Oh my God, yeah. There is. It's a deep cut and it's just for my dad. I think it's called Foggy Mountain or something like that. It's a fucking bluegrass song where the banjo's just going completely ape shit. Yeah, Foggy Mountaintop or something like that. Look it up. Yeah, I am ham boning to Foggy Mountaintop or something like that. Yeah.
I hope the full name of the song is Foggy Mountaintop or something like that.
It is Foggy Mountaintop, and it's by just the fucking most bluegrass sounded name or something like Earl Scruggs, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Foggy Mountain Breakdown, Flat and Scrubs.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Great. So,
this fight's getting weird inside his head now that that's the soundtrack. I'm telling you that for sure.
Tops the charts and our hearts, So
Quinny can't help where he's from. You know what I mean? He's still just a farm boy, whether he likes it or not.
I mean, I did call that Art Quintry Roads in my head, so like it's fair. This all tracks. Okay, great. So, Quinny, I'm going to need a Dex save before we go any further.
Oh, natural 1. Let's re-roll that with lucky.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you lucky? Is that a thing that halflings can do? It's never come up on this show.
Where are you, Quinny?
Right now, let's say I'm working the left inner thigh.
We're all engaged with the monster.
Jesus Christ, we're all engaged. Okay, add 3 to that.
Oh, okay. So I rolled an 11 on the re-roll, plus 3 for 14, plus Dex save. Yeah, it's going to be a 24.
Thank God for that 3. How else would you have managed? My goodness, with your tiny itty bitty baby roll. God damn it. All right. We got to stop giving you guys inspiration too. I feel like I'm just like,
that was my other ace in the hole. After lucky, I would have gone for inspiration if the roll was not satisfactory.
Look, Tom, no, you don't. I only have 1 left, and knowing where we started,
I was gonna say most of us aren't lucky. Tom, don't punish us for Quinny's hubris.
Hubris.
He picks a fight with every god we've ever met, including you.
Yeah, well.
I mean, at least Tyler doesn't pick the fight.
I was going to say, does that mean Laura's a halfling?
No, because she's not that lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
I pay for my hubris constantly.
Like an adult. Yeah. Like a full-sized adult.
Excellent. All right. So, your fucking 20 million, whatever the shit is fine. So you continue to ham bone. You find yourself sort of like, did we establish last time, Quinny, that you were actually able to see inside, or are you just like talking to him as you hand bone?
No, it's one way. I've pressed the medallion into his hand so that he receives the encouraging words from me. I don't get anything from him, which is why I need to be able to suss out on the outside if this is doing anything. Yeah.
Yep, gotcha. Okie dokie. So yes, you're still evading the substance. What do you say to Reginald?
I say, I can see it out here, Reginald. You're doing it. Keep doing it. We're fighting for you out here.
And inside his brain, Reginald gets clever and realizes he doesn't have to launch Reginald's. He can launch Quinny's. And you just see Reginald's hauling Quinny's out of cages and then strapping dynamite to them and launching them at the spot.
We were in cages?
Not before this idea started, but now he only knows the horde. So,
right. What are the Quinnies yelling, Tyler? Keeping in mind that these are generated by Reginald's head. So what does Reginald imagine Quinny would yell being launched out of these catapults with dynamite strapped to him.
He is also hearing the music you were playing, which is now playing through the whole scene.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I deserve this, but maybe with the bluegrass, it'll be something like just, Yee-haw! Just riding the nuke, a la Doctor Strangelove.
I like that a lot. All right, so we've got a mix of I deserve this and Yee-haw is going on. At this point, it just sounds like a game of worms, just like, adorable little voices yelling things as the Quinnies get launched. So, Tyler, can you roll me a persuasion?
Using my stats?
Yeah, this is to see what benefit you're giving Reginald.
Okay,
from your actions here, other than just like a nicer mental image for him.
Okay. So if we're using my stats, I rolled a natural 20.
Okay.
So what does that add up to, Tyler?
If you want my stats, that was persuasion?
Yeah.
23.
See, that one does make me feel better. That one, that's just really lucky. All right, so Ryan, I'll let you add a d6 to each damage roll from
cool.
your dynamite Quinnies. He's inspired you not in the way that he intended, but that you have found more useful with his nat 20.
Yee-haw, I deserve this dynamite Quinnies. There's a lot of fun things happening inside Reginald's brain. If it weren't for the constant threat of them dissolving his soul, this would be a good time.
The tale as old as time, honestly. All right. So Quinny, this is one of the rare instances where you won't just like disengage and hide or whatever the shit. So you're stuck there, ham-boning away, bringing us to Echo.
Yeah.
So is the goo stuff, the little tendrils, are they in or were they kind of rebuffed by Hammer?
I think they were full on
The two that
vaporized.
jumped forwards
They
were
were
vaporized. They're dead.
obliterated.
Okay. How's Reginald looking? Is he
Covered in goo.
Yeah.
covered in goo?
You can't see any of him beyond the ham boning. I should also say I fucked up the initiative order, so this won't be your order in the future, but it is for right now. So enjoy your early initiative.
That's okay. Jump to whose initiative it is.
No. You're looking at Reginald. It's all you.
Okay.
You see, you did get lucky. You wonderful halfling, you.
Echo, also tiny. See? It's a
There it
tiny thing.
is. There it is.
Oh, I have so...
The gods favor children or those who look like children. The gods are far away.
Gods have no depth perception? Is this what you're saying?
If you're in the sky and you're looking down, you're like, dots. That's a slightly smaller dot. Probably a kid. I don't want to be wrong.
magic eyes. Can't figure out which one is lucky. Just god problems.
The god of binoculars always gets it right, but the rest of fucking up constantly.
Damn you, Oculus. Damn you.
So all
Oculus, the
we've
god of
really got in
binoculars.
here is Reginald and the goo.
Well, how's Butthole's here too? Butthole's creating the
I
field.
know, but I mean, like, there's nothing else to fight.
Well, I mean, there are
Two other tendrils in the room, I think, that haven't made it into the blast zone yet.
Yeah,
no, the
but
four the
I'm
like
not
the
worried
tendril
about them.
situation is currently sorted, I believe. But
Nice.
there are a lot more hosts bringing in more tendril as we speak. So if you're not finding any love in the immediate battlefield, like similar to what Quinny did to blow up one of the entrances, there are other options because basically, like, these things are going to keep arriving, but. Echo also doesn't necessarily care about that. She's made very clear that the goo should just give up and have, I don't know, like nihilistic thoughts about its place in the world.
Echo is going to make slashing motions across like the surface of Reginald to like hit the goo, but like not like deal him a deadly blow.
The surface of Reginald is also called his skin, right? That's everyone's surface.
Well, technically, he's wearing clothes, so there is
Okay,
a surface of like armor between
But
him
he's
and
like
what's happening.
there's goo all over him too, right? Or is it goo within him?
You're trying to like shave off exterior.
There
goo.
is evil within him as well. It went
Got
into
it.
his eyes, nose, and other orifices. But in terms of like what you're seeing on the outside, so like the goo has coated his body. You can, if I'm understanding what your intent, Laura, you're trying to like get some of the goo off him or just hit the goo but not hit him. The problem is like it is such a thin coat that like you can't, unless you walk up, place the blade against him and then just like lean in slightly like you're trying to mark the top of a pastry, then
Laura,
sure. But
Laura, do you have stress?
no, I don't.
I never marked any stress down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
you have
means you
stress.
do.
I'm just
I
saying,
don't-
maybe
want it.
Echo has a cheese grater and could just get in there and just.
Why the fuck would Echo have a cheese? Oh, actually, you
Moving
know what?
tattoos.
Maybe I don't want to know.
There are a lot of people that could be storing different items inside a wheelchair. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, well,
It's a
Laura,
shared
do you want to
wheelchair.
spend your stress on a fucking cheese grater and then somehow justify why Sheriff Moss has a cheese grater just at hand?
I mean, Sheriff Moss wouldn't have a cheese grater, but Grandpa Warwick definitely would have.
Okay, all right. You see, this is
It's this one thing, like he loves his cheese so much, but he doesn't like have like the strength. Like he's really close to losing his teeth, and so he can't bite through cheese. And so his wife always packed a cheese grater with him.
Wait,
so
he
that-
has a wife?
He did.
Oh my god, what? Okay, all right.
Juniper
means
has
we
lived
now
a
have-
life, you guys.
In my brain, the idea of an item that's just referred to as Grandpa Warwick's +1 cheese grater.
Yeah.
Also, just implies that like maybe Juniper as Grandpa Warwick lived a full life somewhere at some point, just like Steve Rogers in the past.
So here's
Or
the thing.
is his wife deeper in there and we just haven't met her yet?
Here's the thing: is that changelings in their societies can actually share personas. So people can actually take on similar personas. So like amongst all of the many uses of the persona of Grandpa Warwick, he's lived a full life.
Holy shit! All right, I like that a lot. Okay, so
So do you
I
hand
think
off
that-
Warwick with the cheese grater then? Or is it like, oh no, this one doesn't have a cheese grater. He
No,
serves
if
no
you
purpose.
if you ever like take on Grandpa, like you have to get a cheese grater.
Yeah, but if I understand correctly, Laura, it's not like all of us could be Grandpa Warwick. There is the Grandpa Warwick persona is like handed from person to person. Yeah?
No, you can be Grandpa Warwick. Like
Oh, okay.
At any
But you have
time.
to have the cheese grater. So what is,
Yeah.
I think, I will give this to you for, I was going to make it 5 stress because it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But now you've given it a fucking up backstory, so I kind of can't. So I'll give it to you for 3.
Okay.
But it's got to be named after your dead wife. So what's the cheese grater's name?
And is she dead?
I don't think she's dead. I think she just left him.
Oh shit! Well, then, is it named after her, or is it named something
Yeah,
about?
but I
cheese
think
grater
I
is still
think
named
I think
dead wife,
I think
though.
he can't remember, and so to him, she's dead.
Okay.
So
Wow,
he
that
thinks
is-
she's dead, but he's actually just an old man who got divorced.
Yeah.
He's just
Just
Gil.
has dementia.
So the cheese
old
grater's
Gil.
name is Grandma Warwick.
Oh, fuck it, Laura, you get that one for 2. Okay, so
damn.
you have Grandma Warwick, the cheese grater of destiny, hidden. I assume, like at this point, I'm a big fan of Gus Chiggins, the like panhandler Will Ferrell character from SNL. I'm imagining like the cheese grater is just like one of the many there is like pots and pans and like actual useful roughing it things that like particularly Juniper would know to have. But there's always just the cheese grater. It's just hanging there.
Yep.
And now is its time. Laura, what kind of cheese grater are we dealing with here? Is it like a long handled one? Is it like the classic cowbell shape? Like what are we dealing with?
It's that kind of vaguely pyramidal 4 sides with like a rectangular base with like a handle on top.
That's my kind of cheese grater. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. All
Dare
right,
I
fantastic.
ask, does Echo wield it, or does this summon forth Grandpa Warwick the moment he touches Grandma?
It's like Grandpa Warwick starts to emerge the second, and Echo's just like,
You stay. No, this is not for you. You stay there.
Like, Echo is very aware that Grandpa Warwick is a liability in the fight.
Laura, can you
It's
roll
not
me a
your
D6?
time, old man.
Roll what?
A D6.
Tom. 4.
Okay. So yeah, you have your brief like Hulk out moment, but instead of like the Hulk appearing being like, Hulk, no, come out, it's just Grandpa Warwick being like, whoa! And Echo, you force him back in, and you grab hold of the cheese grater, which again is very concerning in the hands of Echo just all around. So you're gonna go to work on trying to remove like goo from Reginald.
Just
Okay.
with her fast little hands, just like,
I'm sorry, like what?
Yeah, can we get that one more time?
There it is. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Laura, give me a. I think we're gonna go with a sleight of hand then, similar to what Quinny's dealing with the ham boning. This is really a like trying to get around the tendrils that are like whipping and snapping at you as you grate away.
okay. Inspiration. 18.
18. Okay. So we'll say that that will pass advantage to Reginald's next sort of series of actions.
Sweet. Love
and
it.
Brian, I'll let you can basically treat it like a temporary inspiration. So it's not that it has to be on your first roll. You just need to use it in the next.
Yeah, it'll get used in the turn somewhere. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, as Echo begins to just like carve goo away, like tiny buttholes just flying by, gulping it up, pooping it out, like just destroying it as they go. But making sure that
Are the little buttholes like purifying it?
Yeah, it gets pooped out as little pieces of solid gold. Like it's just gold falls out of them, and then
just the Mario coin every time.
Yeah, if Quinny looks to the ground, the gold immediately turns to shit the moment it touches the ground. Like there's no value here.
Okay. I was gonna say.
That's how Reginald stops getting help from Quinny.
Yeah. And just the last thing he hears, like from the booming voice in the heavens of his mind palace, is like, "Oh, hang on a second, I gotta get something."
Season 1 Quinny's here. He's entered the chat. All right, so cool. So Echo, that is your turn. That will bring us back into actual initiative order. Which is the substance. So it is going to go ahead first on the outside, then on the inside. So on the outside, Echo, you're right there now. You're engaged with it, so it is going to attack you.
That's fair.
It will need to make a wisdom save because it's in the hammers.
It succeeds.
Great. So then it takes half damage, but let's see what that is.
It'll be regular damage.
Yeah, so it'll take 19 radiant damage, which will just be 19 this time.
Ryan, did you do the math already, or should I do the math?
Oh, I mean, theoretically, it would get doubled if it was radiant, but they pass the save, so we get cut in half, so it'll just be a clean 19. No, nothing will change.
I mean, if. It's a big if.
Yeah,
If it was doing double damage.
Purely hypothetical.
Yeah. In a world. Great. Okay. So yeah, it's still just getting pummeled away. But then it goes after Echo.
Cool.
Echo, what's your AC?
My AC is 21.
21. Okay.
And I do have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. I don't know if that means anything.
It won't for this particular.
Does it change shape to attack?
So tendrils are coming off it to attack. I'm going to make the case that your brand will work very well internally because it's just an ocean and has no form. Out here, I would venture that the tendrils kind of count as its true form.
That would make sense to me because it's not trying to become something else.
No, it's just like it's facets of it itself, whereas inside the brain, because it can't form a mental image of itself, that's going to be a real real problem for it. Because since it has no prime shape, I think it just gets fucked every time it tries to do it. Seems to be the way of it. Okay, so that's it takes 3 attacks against you, Echo. It will hit with 2.
All right.
Oh yeah, I only have the 1d8, so this is gonna take a second. I mean, what?
Oh, no.
Don't worry about it. What? Okay, so that is 40 points of damage. And you are grappled as it begins to just claw, like as its like tendrils smack against you, just starts wrapping around your.
Yep.
As you're grating, you're still like forcing the grater down with your like tiny ropey fucking like Wednesday Atom arms, but it's wrapping around those.
Okay.
And like you feel the chair get pulled forward as it starts to like intertwine with the spokes.
Ooh, don't like that.
And generally just get up in your business. Meanwhile, inside the mental battlefield, it is going to attempt to attack. But Ryan, I'm going to let you do all your shit first because in order to attack, it has to pick a form, and that will trigger everything you've got.
Okay. So I'm assuming my attacks will come later, but for what this does, okay. If it is polymorphed or changing shape, it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. It does not.
Okay. They are stunned until the end of my next turn and can do nothing.
Nice.
Very nice.
So blam, those Reginalds, the exploding Quinnies are hurling into it, and the Reginalds are just pounding away. Now they're rhythmically playing along with the ham boning that they're hearing in the head. So like all the hammers from the sigil are still hanging on, just pounding away.
Yeah, the wall of wave is just like trembling and slightly receding as the many Reginalds continue their like cool vertical surf dance. Cool. All right. So that is that, and then I got to roll for. All right.
Also, I added Reginald's damage to his body because he also would have been hit by hammers, so I'm not cheating. It's been taken off his sheet.
Oh, cool. Okay, great. Okay, so that is 3 new tendril creatures spawn at the outside of the arena and begin their splooshy jumps towards you.
Flub,
What
flub,
will happen
flub,
to
flub.
them when they arrive? Bad things. We've learned bad things. Okay. That brings us to Butthole.
Okay, Butthole is going to summon his holy power, and he is going to reach out to tag Reginald's, just tag a piece of Reginald's skin from where Quinny is also ham boning. And he is going to try to cast Light, which is a cantrip that clerics can cast. So if the creature wants to avoid this, they need to succeed on a dexterity saving throw, DC 18 for the tendril monster.
I got a 7, and that is with stuff added.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Until the spell ends, the object sheds bright light in a 20-foot radius and dim light for another 20-foot radius. So if this goo doesn't like being lit up, I hope it likes the fact that Reginald's armor is now just a fucking full-body flashlight.
Okay. Yeah.
This will also last for an hour. So fuck.
Nice.
Amazing. Cool. So in response to that, Quinny, Butthole, and Echo, I'm going to need a con save.
Okay.
And Echo, yours is going to be at disadvantage because you are grappled.
Cool. Everyone else can add 3 to theirs.
I'm going to spend my 1 inspiration.
Echo got 13.
Okay.
Butthole will spend his inspiration. He gets a 23.
Okay.
Quinny got 14.
14. Okay. So Butthole, you I'm curious, what skin do you think you touch on Reggie? Because Quinny's like ham boning like armor mostly. So do you like how do you get in there? What are you doing?
Yeah. I think Okay, technically it says object, so I probably can't tag Reginald's skin, right? I would have to tag his armor if it's an object spell,
that's
or would
fine.
you
That's
let me
much
cheat
easier
and
then.
tag?
Okay,
Okay, we'll do that.
So then,
Can I have an ability called Dark One's Own Luck. I use it before I know the result of a save or an ability check.
oh, you're lucky I'm still talking. Then yes,
I know I cut it close. I am okay to roll. Okay, I'm just adding a D10
having
to my
been
result.
the dark one who gave that to you, and then his mom who gave it back to you, I kind of have to let you.
Okay, so +4, so now it's 18.
Okay.
I think from what we've heard, Quinny is ham-boning around, and we heard a very specific inner thigh.
We did hear in a thought.
So
Yes.
I think Butthole just channels some of that brotherly knockabout energy that you know they had in the Greywater Syndicate, and he just reaches out and just flicks Reginald right on the crotch of his armor, just right on the dick, just with a fingertip, just like ting, and that's where the magic goes.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, I wish I could argue this logic like the cheese grater or literally anything that happens on this show, but fucking that does kind of make sense. So sure, yeah, flick him in the dick and light comes out of his armor. You know, just as Gary Gygax intended. So the armor begins to glow. I assume, Ryan, it's the gold, the sort of like butt hammer gold.
It's just that like yellow white light.
Yeah. So the armor begins to shine. It's, you know, a little bit like the Beast's transformation, where it's just like light begins to like blast out of Reginald. Inside, Ryan, I'm curious what you think this looks like, because we've established like the wave is being beaten back, but then like this is a whole different thing. So like how does this golden light manifest inside Reginald's head, do you think?
Oh man. I think a mountaintop has appeared to the left of the smoke that has just been like brought about by the foggy mountaintop song, just subconsciously summoning a mountain for him. And he just looks up from the wall of the battle, and the theme from Lord of the Rings Helm's Deep just starts playing, and he just sees a golden butthole with a whole army of Quinnies behind it, and like one Echo who is just stabbing Quinnies left and right. Like any Quinnies near Echo are just fucking getting murdered. And they're just, the shining light comes with them over as they just storm towards the smoke.
That's good. I now have that horn section, you know, just blasting. The violins kick in, like it's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's playing at the same time as the ham-bonings. They're just two weird epic anthems playing that are arrhythmic and don't quite match, but it's still Reginald. Just a single tear falls from where he's on the wall, and he just goes, "Oh, it's so beautiful."
As dynamite Quinnies
I deserve this. Yee-haw! He does
darn.
deserve it.
Yeah.
He does. Yee-haw.
Incredible. So as this kind of glorious cavalry is here moment occurs, you see the golden wave just slam into the side of this sort of like giant inky black wave of Kanagawa situation. And between that and the Reginalds that are fighting it and the dynamite explosions, you know, Reginald, you like you do the helmet off thing, drop it, you know, your long luxurious hair for a moment is there before it, you know, presumably disappears. But just of the joy of having held out long enough that you know, help could arrive. As the substance evacuates your body and flees the light that has begun to shine from your armor. And as with the meteorite before, it explodes outward along its tendrils into the host it had already grasped onto. As Echo, the substance drives its way up your nose, into your already blackened eyes, into your mouth, coats you, and has to contend with a very interesting problem, which is it's just possessed a changeling. It's still got the brand on it. However, it did just earn some mobility, which is going to make this hammer field a little bit more complicated. So honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing who it ends up being because there's a whole lot going on in there, and it just seized control of all of it.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Roman Brown, Spot Allen, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG, it's Big Nick, D&D and Things, Norma Byers, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Flea Unit, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Melissa Rain, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.